Well, hello. My name is William Mitten. I am doing the sprint review for the Scrum bags. Jack normally helps me on these, but we figured that there wasn't enough for both of us to have to be here to present. So I think the user stories for this particular sprint were to focus on grouping the colleges and departments on our reports page. We also needed to do elapsed time and create an average at the bottom, and then also just to discuss basic wireframe and how our application works. So for this, we have run into a couple of issues with our project lately. And one of those is that we need different users to be able to display our project next week when we present. But we only have 2 licenses in order to create Salesforce users. And so we had a little trouble to where we could only create one additional one for what we actually needed. So we're needing 2 more, having to figure out how we're going to be able to display that in the class without those licenses, which our project works, but it's just the school would have to have more licenses for those people to be able to do that. But looking at our first user story, going into our EL course approval status, we already had this grouped from, I guess, last sprint. We kind of started on it, got ahead, but we figured we'd look into it now. Hopefully it'll load soon. Yeah, so if you look right here, I kind of have, these courses don't technically line up correctly. But right now in our draft, we do have these separated by the college. And then from there, it does do it by the department. So these create kind of separation in order to be able to view these. And then if you looked here, our next user story was the elapsed time. And so we had to clear out kind of our, already submitted test files just so we could have a fresh start. And so these will have an elapsed time over the course of the next few days because we're going to leave some of these running. But to lead you through kind of our application, right now I am the department head, the dean's office, and the approver. I'm so sorry for these messages. But hold on, let me see. Sorry, I went ahead and fixed that. So we're going to go ahead and just do a tester file. So we're going to fill this out, tester. We'll do A through F, 3 credit hours, 2 times a week. Do a lecture, course frequency every semester, course objectives. We'll just do test, 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 and then our course ID will be a numeric value test, and then we'll do engineering, and then we'll focus on computer science. That'll go there. So as you can see, we have our fill out, and that allows them to put in all that information. They'll be able to save that. That'll take them to this. We have our activity and chatter files. They'll submit that for approval. Go ahead and submit it. And then that'll lead us to our page. This is going to be, so from our approver side, they're going to get a notification like this, and then they're able to click on that. That takes them to their approval request, and then they can approve it. Same goes for the next step. They're going to get a notification. It'll pop up here in a second. They'll be able to click that. Then they'll be able to approve it. Also, they'll be able to just go straight into this approval request right here. When I go back, it's going to be there. And so basically, you'll see that after we get this approved, you have all of our pages and everything that we need for the process and the app. So this final one should be approved. So once we go back into our reports, you can click on this, and then that value for that tester file should have a 0, which, because it's rounding for days, and so we didn't hit a full day for that elapsed time, which that's not necessarily a problem. It needs to be in days just for the simple fact of this process is going to take some time. So if you look on this engineering tester file, it has it under approved and it has it at 0 days. So as we let these sit for a little while longer, I'm not approving any of them. I'm going to have them submitted for approval a second here, and then they'll be ready for when we have to display our project for next week.